because there's also obviously a big drive to mobilise support, not least from arguably some of the greatest role models in the modern world. Sportsmen and women who've competed in the Olympics. One of them, the Sierra Leone Olympian Dr. Francis Dove Edwin, has founded Target Ebola. It's a campaign revolving around high-profile athletes to help fight the disease. And he joins me in the studio now. Francis, thanks very much for coming in. Obviously, you're from Sierra Leone. You competed in 2 Olympics, Seoul and Barcelona. You qualify on every level. But give me the personal story, because you've been back recently.
Yes, I've been back recently. I've been working with the task force. I was actually there when the outbreak started. And it's very personal because it's not only, it's transforming the whole cultural behavior of Sierra Leoneans.
In what way?
From birth to death. I mean, you could just imagine someone of your family died and you're not allowed to bury that person. You know, so you can't even do what you're supposed to do culturally for your father or your mother. Or for a mother to have a child that is sick and has contacted the virus, and you have to break that bond between mother and child.
Right, so these are obviously, important messages to get out, and an awful lot of aid and help is needed. So I know you started recruiting world Olympians. We've got 1 or 2 of them to show here, and these are seriously big names. Target Ebola, hashtag Target Ebola, that's the campaign. Well, we all know who he is, of course, Usain Bolt. He's dedicated some shoes, some spikes, hasn't he?
Yes.
Here's Carl Lewis, also backing the campaign. And Sergei Bubka, the great pole vaulter. So you've got big names there prepared to sort of lend their support. What difference do they make? What do they bring?
Well, they bring in a face to what's happening in West Africa. You know, we need to have people be aware. There's a lot of domino effect, and it's actually affected the sporting world. For instance, if you've been following it last week, the Moroccans have cancelled out of the football.
The Africa Cup of Nations.
So, I mean, for you to lose all that preparation took you years to do, and these are some of the domino effects. I mean, we might not be affected, but we are affected.
Can I ask you how much more, perhaps, Olympians could do? I mean, you know, we're talking about tens of thousands of great athletes throughout the ages. How much do you think, in terms of momentum, they could achieve? Well,
we can achieve a lot, and a lot of them, you don't only have to donate funding, but as you've seen, some of your memorabilia. For instance, right now, we've got Prince Albert of Monaco. He's also part of it. We've got, as you mentioned, Sergei Bubka, and there are many more that are coming on board. And we're also working with partners, because when you look at this, we're mobilizing resources to go into a humanitarian crisis. So we have MedSend out of Dallas, Texas, that is working with us. We also have Oxfam that is also partnering with us. And these items will be auctioned, and then they will come forward, and those donations will be transformed into necessary resources that is needed by the community to prevent the spread of the virus.
It would be amazing, fascinating perhaps, to see what it would be worth if all these Olympians were prepared to donate 1 item even for auction. I mean, you can see the impact that could have. At the same time, you're recognising that you're exploiting them, but there could be no better cause, I guess.
For a good cause. You know, it's really for a good cause, because this is something that affects the human race. This is something that affects us. This is something that affects our brothers and sisters that play sports. Right now, in most parts of West Africa, all type of gathering is banned. So nobody's playing any kind of, even practicing, you cannot practice more than 2 or 3 athletes.
So these Olympians, in a way, have got a duty to get involved.
Definitely.
You would say. I know we've got a T-shirt, which I think it's more than fair to give it a plug here. There we are, hashtag Target Ebola. Francis, thanks very much indeed for coming in, explaining that to us.
Thank you very much,
Francis Dove Edwards there. And there's more on Francis's campaign if you go to targetebola.org, the hashtag, as we saw on the T-shirt there, hashtag Target Ebola on Twitter.